So I'm going to do a quick intro for everybody and those of us online as well, joining through Zoom. Valentino, we have a bunch of folks joining already. Yeah, perfect. So give a little bit of intro about our program, our lovely guests today coming as our panelists for our students, and a little bit about our projects that we're going to see this evening. So I'd like to start with acknowledgement that Langara College and where we are today is on the on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Salish, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. So a little bit about WMDD at Langara. It's a little different from our typical kind of post-secondary school where all the instructors you see up there, and I hopefully have missed anybody there, is coming from industry. We all come from industry. We're all passionate about industry. We come from our own field of study. Some of us still have one foot in one side and one foot in the classroom, myself. And we like to bring that knowledge, that excitement, that kind of innovative side in tech to the classroom whenever possible. Some of that will trickle down into today's presentations, but also if you have time, Saturday morning, we have our Project 2 and the afternoon, our Project 1 presentations, each highlighting a different side of the technical process. Right. So I'm going to invite Jason, our coordinator, to talk a little bit about our program.
Thank you, Tyler. My name is Jason Madar. I'm only half of the coordinator. The other half is down there, Jessica. We help manage the web and mobile program. I'm a developer by trade, and Jessica is a designer. So we actually have half and half. Then this is where the web and mobile program is kind of unique in a way. Of all the programs that we have looked at, that we have exposed to, this is one of the most unique ones where we kind of force the left brain and right brain to kind of communicate. So the older I get, the more I realize that communication is kind of key to everything. Right, of course, we try to teach the state of the art, like as you can see, and through the presentations today, we try to make sure that we keep on top on the technical side. But just knowing the technology and just knowing how to use the tool is not enough, right, to actually create a product. So I'm very proud of our group. They only have like 13 weeks, or maybe even less than that, to put this together. But they did have 4 terms of practice, right? They have like 3 projects or 2 projects before this. So they had lots of practice, and but a lot of these groups, they do push themselves. They even push themselves to experiment with technology and tools that we don't we haven't covered, or things that are brand new. I know, yeah. So I'm very proud of them. They work really hard. But once again, I think I also want to thank the teaching team and everyone who's involved, our IAs and administrator. It's just that people say that, hey, we manage the program, but I mean mostly it's everyone else working together. I do very little. So enjoy everybody. Enjoy the time together. I love just being with the group. Every 4 months we get to come together and see lots of faculty, lots of students, friends, families, and people from industry. So yeah, welcome and have a good evening.
Thank you, Jason. So it's possibly in the room, I might not be able to define them, is also Darren and Spencer, who, no, they're not here. We'll just talk about them. They're on the way. They're somewhere. But huge support of our program, along with our vice president. Actually, all of Langara, I would say in general, is a huge supporter of WMDD, what we do. And in such a short time, being able to take what's in the classroom and come here, show it off to industry, and have a nice ending to our program as well. This is the final term for our students in their WMDD journey. I'd like to thank UBC Robson Square for the lovely room. Even though it's at a competitor school, very nice of them, very generous of them to allow us to come to this space. And the catering, thank you to Paul for arranging all of this and putting it together. It's really nice just to give our students, like I said, an ending to their term where they can come away from campus, show off, and have a kind of pre-graduation celebration. All right. So a little bit about Capstone. Jason mentioned earlier the time constraint. And those of us in the field know about the time constraint. All of us who work in the field know that 12 weeks is not a lot of time. That's the 3 months for the whole program. But this is just the last stage of their WMDD journey. So for anyone who's never heard about web and mobile design and development, it's a postgraduate degree where we bring students with some background, sometimes no background, and we take them through the entire process until what we get to today. Now, with that, 12 weeks is a super short amount of time. That is from nothing to what we're going to see today on the stage. Massive amount of work done. Like I said, especially those in the field know that 12 weeks is a drop in the bucket. Anything can happen in 12 weeks. A lot of the time, nothing happens in 12 weeks. So it's a very short amount of time to come from the research side, researching with real folks in the field, researching their market, and really in about 10 weeks, designing and developing everything we see today. So it's a very, very tight schedule. Hence why many of our students might look a little bit tired, but we're fine out there, right? Right communication did not fail this term. A lot of awkward laughs there. But this includes all of the promotional materials that hopefully you've had a chance to look at. There is lots of one-page handouts out on the tables. I will ask, though, if you did have a look at one of the booklets, can you please put it back? It's only one per team member in each group. So if you've taken a book, you're taking from a student. You wouldn't take from a student, would you? Let's not do that. So please give them back, but have a look through before you give them back. That's absolutely fine. At the end of each presentation, they will be showing their URL to their website, many of them like QR code. Have a look on there. It has an overview of their entire project, the research, all the design work, all the development work, and can get a view of the team as well. So very quick breakdown of the entire program, and to add to the severity or the constraints of this term, all the students in Capstone only have one class as a group. And that makes it extra difficult when we think about things like communication. So we use all the standard kind of industry. That's a strange noise. Please make the noise go away. There we go. So we use all the same standard industry tools, but in the Capstone group, it is 1 day a week to really come together. The rest of the time, borderline like remote work. So we are really trying to prepare them for the field. That is the idea of this, is so that when they go into the field, they are ready to go, hitting the ground running. All right, so we're going to play a quick video for a little bit of intro. Thanks to Tito, stitching them all together. These are done by our students, so just a little bit of a preview of what's to come.
Let's keep it simple. Learn smart with learning. Download now. In the hustle and bustle of the workday, finding an escape can be a challenge. But every long day deserves a peaceful end. Finally, the comfort of your own bed, where the chaos of the day fades away. But hold up, what if your peace is shattered? Facing challenges, adjusting with a roommate, tired of conflict, negativity, and feeling lonely. Rumi understand. It's not just an act, it's your friend in turning isolation into connection. So, match, list, connect, and schedule. Connecting lives, connecting code. Transform your living. Download Rumi now. New to Vancouver? Searching for a new place in the city can be daunting.
Finding your perfect rental should not be overshadowed by spam listings and fake photos. Introducing Reno. Now access verified listings with real-time pictures for a transparent rental experience. No more fear of scams or false subscriptions. Are you a home seeker on the hunt for the perfect space? With just a tap, explore rentals around you effortlessly. Rental hunting assistant makes sure your search is effortless. Or are you a homeowner ready to showcase your property to potential renters? Our guided process ensures every detail shines, attracting the right renters. Rento, your key to a stress-free move.
A solution for missing important events and an app to connect better with those who are part of your children's life. Meet Unique Tier. Helping parents browse and join events with all the details they need to know in one place. Check your kids' progress in the activities to know how they are performing and progressing. Chat with the organization to get the latest updates on the events your children are participating in. Unitier, connecting hearts, strengthening communities. Download the app now.
I can't remember.
Hi, how are you, Dad? Muna.
Hold on, you love. By your side.
Pati Tangenki.
When I'm with you, it's beautiful. I'm intoxicated by your side.
To me, okay. Thank you, teacher, for those. And like I said, those are done by the students for the projects. This will be the order we're going to be looking at them tonight as well. So a lot of different spaces in the tech scene for solving problems. That is what this this term project is about. Every term we constrain the project to a specific platform, but with mobile, they have to also solve something through the hardware of the device, and then do something out in the community space, something for users, which all of these are doing tonight. So this is just a small glance of some of the technical tools that will be used. Each of the teams will be going over what they chose for security, for their front end, for every single aspect on the development side. They research this, they plan this, and is all part of the process. All right. I'd like to invite our panelists to come up and speak a little bit about themselves, if they don't mind. Paul is handing them some secret papers. Emily, could you get us started if you don't mind?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Mashing. I'm the Director of Product at Ripen. We're a Vancouver-based technology company. Actually, we're trying to do much the same thing this program is, but from a different angle. We're trying to connect students with companies to work on a real industry project as part of their degree or diploma or certificate or boot camp or whatever kind of skill development they're doing, just bring industry into it. So this is super relevant to me, and I'm really excited to see what your projects look like. And if I didn't say, my role at Ripen is I'm the Director of Product there. So I do manage a couple designers and work very closely with engineering. So I'm great at criticizing and giving feedback rather than actually building the things, and looking forward to doing that tonight.
Scott?
Hello. I'm Scott Mallory. I have a creative consultancy called ISM. We are one of Canada's designated incubators. Also, I run an accelerator for BIPOC Foundation, accelerating around 100 startups in Western Canada. Also arts and culture curator at Triumph, that is Canada's particle physics lab, accelerating subatomic particles to nearly the speed of light and smashing them into things and seeing what comes out and what innovations can be spun out of that. So working on science communication for that. And I teach at Emily Carr University of Art and Design and teach at University of Canada West, design thinking for entrepreneurship. So can't wait for these.
Hi, everyone. I'm Taya Lee. I'm the lead UX UI designer at a local startup called Making Auto Easy. I transitioned into UX only about a year ago. So I was where you guys are right now only a year ago, doing my projects, my capstone projects, and presenting to people in industry. And so I know exactly what you're going through right now. I just want to say congratulations to all of you for making it here. Even just from the promotional videos, I know that you guys have put in a ton of work and have done an amazing job. So can't wait to see everything you guys have for us today.
Yes. Thank you very much to our panelists, and a few words from Paul, one of our instructors as well.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to say very quickly on behalf of the program and Jason and I, one of the things that we just wanted to say is that we're happy to have Emily here, of course, and that we are working actually right now in the process of teaming up with Ripen going forward for future terms. So we're hoping to maybe launch that in the next term to bring student projects to those projects and vice versa. And I love Scott. I'll just say I love Scott. That's about as much as I have to say there because he's just awesome. And then I just want to say a quick thanks to Taya, who actually guest lectured in my class earlier this term and got to see some of the students who got to do a design challenge for her and Making Auto Easy. So thanks very much for being here, every one of you. Thank you.
All right, that's enough from all of us. We're going to start with the projects. We're going to start with the Cura team. If you can come to the stage.
Hi everyone, we are the Team Cura. Let me introduce to you my wonderful team. For our designers, we have Rock, who is also our project manager. We have Eric, Christian, and Katrina. For the developers, we are led by Karan, Meraldo, JD, and yours truly. I'm Hayden, full stack developer, and we'll proudly present to you our app, Cura. Cura is a mobile app designed to assist each individuals to monitor the health of their elderly loved ones by utilizing smart wearables. Cura addressed the need of an aging society, especially here in Vancouver. There is a notable rise in its aging population due to a combination of declining of birth rates and increased life expectancy. Back in 2016, my family lost my dearest grandfather in a fall accident. I believe things could have turned differently if we were able to respond immediately. And I know it's not just me. Based on several interviews we had with elders and their loved ones and health experts across the globe, we identified three primary concerns. We have fall accidents, and knowing the elders' whereabouts and monitoring their vital signs. That is why we developed three key features to address these concerns. First, we have fall detection, recognized as the top concerns among individuals. In case of emergency, we can provide them immediate assistance. Second one, we have location tracking. This provides peace of mind knowing our elders' whereabouts. And lastly, we have heart rate monitoring, identified as most crucial based on our interviews with health experts. And now we are trying to present you how it works. Take it away, Karan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karan, the lead developer. For this demo, let's consider Hadrian as Rocky Balboa, who is elder and also wearing a Fitbit band in his hand. And I will be Robert Balboa, his son. You're seeing two screens on the display. The one with the animation is of the elder, and his heart is bumping really fast. Perhaps he's nervous. And the other one is mine, the caregiver. And as there's nothing on my screen, so let's just start by connecting the caregiver to the elder. To do this, we have made it very accessible for Rocky. He could simply go to his profile and select scan QR code. And I will go to my profile to generate a QR code. As Rocky scans my code, now he could add me as his son. So when I go back to the home screen, I would start monitoring Rocky's health. And just like that, Kura bridges the gap between caregivers and elders. Let's start by showcasing our core features, that is monitoring critical heart rate, viewing elders' historic BPM through data visualization, live movement detection, and finally, fall detection. What you're seeing in the home screen is the current BPM of Rocky, which is live data accessed through his Fitbit API. Let's view Rocky's historic BPM by pressing on the graph icon. The daily option shows average BPM of Rocky of each hour of the day. And I could also have an overview by tapping on weekly. This information would be helpful for healthcare professionals in case of emergencies. All of our features run periodically in the background, but to demonstrate how notifications work, we added a demo section in Rocky's profile to generate mock notifications. And as Rocky presses the test critical heart rate button, it will send me, his caregiver, an abnormal heart rate notification alert. And as I got the notification and I tap on it, it takes me to the critical heart rate screen, where I could also see his previously recorded critical heart rate logs. Kura measures abnormal heart rate by comparing the elder's BPM with the American Heart Association BPM thresholds. Currently, the screen shows that Rocky's maximum threshold is 130. How about bumping this value to 140? Rocky could always go to his profile and select heart rate thresholds to bump this value. Okay, now if I reload the page, I can see the value is updated. For the next feature, that is movement detection, Kura gives assurance to caregivers by periodically checking the elder's location and notifying the caregivers every 20 minutes. Now to test it, Rocky will tap on the test modification detection button to generate a mock alert. And as I got the notification and I press on it, it takes me to the movement detection screen. And here also I could see his previously logged movement logs. And now we know about our elders' whereabouts and if they're at home. Finally, the last feature that I like to show you is fall detection. Due to the limitation of affordable smart wearables like Fitbit and our intention to make Kura a cross-platform application, we utilize the mobile to use its sensors to detect fall. Although for the demo, we have adjusted the sensors of the device to detect a fake fall prompt. Now, Rocky will shake his device to emulate a fall.
Oh.
Before marking fall real, we also provide Rocky with a prompt screen where he can confirm if he's okay, else I will automatically receive a notification after 15 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
As fall is a serious event, I was just not notified, but also immediately prompted with a fall detection screen, where I can see my elder's fall location and even call them with the call button. Thank you, Kura. I feel closer to my elder than I will ever be. That's it for the demo.
Thank you, Karan. Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina, the UI UX designer of Kura. For the branding, it draws our inspiration from our dedication to fostering meaningful connections between caregivers and the elderly. We embody this concept through the interconnected letters in our logo. The plus icon signifies unwavering commitment to engaging and caring for individuals. We made sure to have more iterative process. That's why designers collaboratively explored a range of ideas to address the user needs. Through methods such as interviews and consultation with health professionals, that gave us the result of our two personas, which are a caregiver, who's having more control and visibility to their elder. And for the elders, we designed the experience to be seamless and doesn't require any extra work. For the colors, we are leading towards blue spectrum because of its credibility and trust. To make it more soft, we chose teal, which shows balance, and to convey a welcoming feeling. To complement other elements, we chose pink, orange, and green that serves as an identifier of status. For the typeface, we used Satoshi font, showcasing its elegant rounded shapes and sharp details that create balanced visualization and yet easy to read content.
Hi, I'm Christian, the UI lead designer of Team Kura. The goal of our UI kit was to create a visually appealing, straightforward user interface to ensure a seamless experience for our users. As a key element, we created an avatar with an animation that will serve as a representation of the elder, making our design more productive. This not only adds personal touch, but also enhances user engagement. By also including a heart animation as an additional indicator, this will help them rely more on the visuals rather than reading the data to check the current state of the elder. We design our components and icons with rounded corners to make it more organic. The simplicity of our interface will be easier to navigate, especially for the elderly users. Each element is carefully designed with proper spacing and a clutter-free layout in mind to establish a visual hierarchy in our application. This creates more welcoming experience, allowing them to spend more time with Kura in a more relaxed mood.
So what sets us apart? According to our research, even though there are a wide range of tools in the market, we proudly belong to a group that provides more direct and personal approach that connects our platform with the caregivers and their family members. With the features of our competitors in mind, we made sure that our app not just have the key features, but also provides the most supportive experience and promoting peace of mind, while making our solution more user-friendly.
Speaking of our tech stack, we prepared the mockup and wireframe using Adobe Suite and Figma. The designers specifically utilized Adobe After Effects and Premiere Pro to craft our appealing animations and our marketing videos. Kura was primarily built by using Expo and React Native, as these technologies expose native mobile APIs like mobile sensors, GPS coordinates, and camera in JavaScript. Apart from that, we use Tailwind CSS for designing, Lottie JSONs for animation to keep the project size small. In our backend, we use TypeScript to mitigate bugs and errors, a mature ORM tool called Prisma that connected to our database, MongoDB. Not just that, we wanted to have full control and high scalability in this application. Hence, we used Express.js and deployed on our EC2 instance in AWS. We acknowledge how sensitive data is in Kura. And to enhance security, we implemented JWT token authentication and also authorization across all API endpoints. All technologies that Kura uses are of high industry standards, with set stage for reliability and top-notch user experience.
So for the future features, firstly, we want our app to support not just Fitbit, but also other brands in the market. The second one is to enable connection via SOS to send professional help as soon as possible. And finally, maybe your grandma wants to add a sakura and a short hair, like Tomoko. Or be like this slick grandpa. It looks cool though. Right, Tyler? By adding these features, it will make our app more fun and will boost the creativity of the elders. And to wrap it up, here's Higgs.
In less than 12 weeks, our team demonstrated competence by delivering a robust MVP. This achievement was only made possible through unwavering collaboration, dedication, and hard work from each member of the team. Everyone goes above and beyond. Just look at how this project transformed us. So imagine how much more we can contribute to your organizations if you hire us. If you hire us. So I urge you right now to get to know more about us, get to know more about our experiences, and maybe we'll fit on your organization. So visit our webpage, kura-app.ca, or you could also scan the QR code behind me, navigate to the Teams section, and we'd love to connect with you on our LinkedIn. Be like Kura. Kura connects, Kura cultivates, and Kura cares. Thank you.
Some thoughts from the panel?
Hello, Lydia.
Suggesting Tyler is a grandpa? Is there something we don't know, Tyler? I'm going to start it off at the end with Taya.
First of all, congratulations, guys. You look amazing. You've got team hoodies, you've got everything branded, and your demo was incredible. Really blown away by everything that you were able to achieve in just 12 short weeks. Great way to start off your presentation with something that was meaningful and relating it to something personal. It is obviously a very important and growing concern for a lot of people in Vancouver and BC, honestly, across the world. And so, yeah, excellent job basing your problem space off of something that is really impactful for a lot of people. Yeah, I think you did a great job of addressing very specific problems with specific solutions. You tackled your top 3 things that you wanted to address in your app, and you figured out 3 specific solutions and how to address them. You chose those specific things to focus on without having to go, trying to go too far and trying to do too much. And so you focus on those 3 and doing those 3 really well. I was really impressed in terms of your UX and UI design. Everything was very clean, and I think you had really good consideration for your target audience, especially since you're going to be working with elders. You want to make it as simple and as spaced out as possible so they don't have to get too confused by any of the nitty-gritty. And I also was really impressed with your micro interactions and the ways that when you press different buttons or tabs on the nav bar, it would shift, or your loading animations. The devil is in the details, and you guys really nailed it there. Yeah, and the animations were really good as well. The only thing I would ask about is whether you consider the WCAG accessibility standards in terms for your colors and text. Didn't get any blaring red flags for that, but I just thought in your presentation it might be a good thing to address, especially since you are catering to both young and old, and especially with elderly people, they may have vision impairment, so it might be a good thing to address just in the future. But overall, really well done, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Amazing project. I agree with the personal aspect that this is coming from lived experience. And so that's a form of expertise that you bring to it and helps you to really execute this. I think the way that you broke down those problems that you're solving really clearly works really well. Sometimes a project can sprawl where you're trying to solve too many rolled up into one, but you didn't fall into that trap, it looks like. It looks like it works so well that I had the question, what are the challenges that you faced, or what looks like it doesn't work yet?
I think because this was a mobile app and we have experience as web developers, so a lot of research was a lot of challenge because we had to find ways how to solve the problems with the solutions. So we initially started out, we also scrutinized the bands, and finally we also found a band which fits our needs as Fitbit. So a lot of research took place in the initial weeks. We didn't code at all, just research.
Excellent. Yeah, and I saw you were also anticipating problems like the fake falls and things. I have one more question, something that jumped out because it looked like your competitors did not do the location feature, maybe none of them. So that kind of like looks like your edge and kind of like where a lot of innovation is happening. Can someone talk about how you came to that decision?
I think when we were researching with Tyler, he was the one who suggested the location feature, and we took the guidance from him, and then yeah.
Awesome, thanks for that.
That was awesome, guys. I was super impressed. I think it was a really great problem to solve, like a great selection of topic. You're definitely right. Like there are others in the market, but it seems like from what I've seen from people in my own life, no one's got the market cornered. Maybe they don't have it down in terms of ease of use. So really being able to sell your product from that regard of just saying like, this is not only has the fullest set of features, but is going to be the easiest for elderly people to use would be huge. If you were to pursue it, I think that'd be where you'd get the most questions, would be defending why this is better than the other alternatives out there. I did think it looked really great. It seemed like it worked really smoothly. I had one particular question about the fall detection. Does that only work with the phone? Is that only detected by the phone falling currently?
So right now, the only watch that I think we found that has fall detection is the Apple Premium Watch. All the rest variables that people had, we also have to consider affordability. So they didn't detect falls. So, but everyone has phone. Every elder has a phone, and you have a phone when you go out. So we implemented it straight away on the phone, and it relies on the mobile sensors.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just a Fitbit limitation for now. Okay, cool. And then I guess I was also curious, like location did also stand out to me. I'm just curious, is the elderly person able to turn that off if they like the other features and they're not sure about the privacy feature of sharing location?
So what happens when the elder signs up, he receives a loss of permissions in the app itself. So you allow the permission, and then the feature would be enabled. If the elder doesn't want it to be enabled, it could simply turn it off and the app will not do anything.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think that was all my questions then. I was, again, really impressed. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, Karan, you might need to think about dyeing your beard because you look great. Great. Hey, that's, oh man, I think I like my gray in my hair, but that's something there, right? I just was going to say really quickly that in the future for anyone, I would always suggest for something for elderly is to just make sure you're defining what elderly means. because I'm actually going through this with my grandfather-in-law right now, and he refuses to use any devices, wear anything, he can't see a phone, for example. So there's a little bit of a definition there. So I was curious about, you don't have to answer to this, I'm just stating it, customer discovering about elderly use of the devices and where that maybe ends, because a lot of times it's the children or the grandchildren that are buying the devices and setting it up. And I would have loved to hear about the TomTom integration, because I think that would have been probably a big key important point, how that might have been a challenge. That's it. But I'll end off by saying, after being here for 5 years, I think Tyler will say the same, the attention to detail, you guys, that was fantastic all the way through the presentation and even the slides and every little bit, just amazing work on the attention to detail. So good job.
Thank you, Cura team. I'm gonna invite the Unitier team to come up next. How they set up, I just want to throw out a reminder that all the projects we're looking at tonight they're not prototypes, not visual prototypes, real code driving all of this work, which is why it's so cool to see what they've done in 12 weeks. Ready? Okay. Nice.
Our solution for missing important is that connect better with those who are negotiating slides. Make it clear. Healthy parents are also joining events to know better about receptive field. Your children's permits will be released to know better or make it progress. After the evaluation, you know how to make this perfect when the constructive Unitier, connecting parts, strengthening community. Download the app now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rafa. I'm a designer for Unitier, and I'm happy to present our app along with my team. Unitier is an app to manage children's activities. It's like the opposite of Cura. So we started our research and interviews, and we found out 2 types of users. First, we have, for example, Moon here, who is our developer, but she's also a mother. And she has been spending more than $1,300 annually per children in extracurricular activities. But that's not the only issue. She's also spending a lot of time scheduling and managing those activities so they fit their family schedule. On the other side, Canada has a really strong volunteering culture, and there are over 86,000 organizations in this country. And since COVID, there was a shortage in volunteers available. So people like Zion, who is also one of our developers and is volunteering for Girl Guides, has recently an increased workload in those organizations. So she's focusing a lot on managing and coordinating instead of focusing on the activities itself, which is what really matters. So we wanted to offer a solution for both people like Moon and Zion, so they can coordinate those children's activity easier and smoother and without so much effort. We also want to connect the organizations and the parents so they don't have to exchange lengthy and unclear emails all the time. And while doing so, we want to offer an environment that is safe and provides trust. Because we're talking about children, this really matters. So now Binazir is going to talk about competitors analysis.
Thank you, Rafa. This is Binazir. I'm a full stack developer. As you may already know, there are some applications on the market for whatever problem we are facing, right? Some applications like TeamSnap, they provide and they also focus on child's activities like sport activities. And they don't provide security, trust, reviews, and some child dashboards. Having all these together, we provided 3 features in our applications. We create an event to update and give us the last minute information details for all the events. And also we have security for our users. And the end, we have chat feature to keep update all the user about whatever is going on in the activities. I'm sure you are also excited to see the demo. I would like to ask Moon and Zion to show us the demo.
Hello, everyone. I am Moon. a full-stack developer for Unity team, and also a mother. The right screen you're seeing is for the volunteer, and the left is for the parents. So I'm going to demonstrate as a parent first. I need to look for an event on December 16, Saturdays, so I can run some errands before Christmas holidays and winter break. Let's check my daughter's Amanda's profile and dashboard here. Oh, she got a new achievement and badge. As you all are seeing here, I can check all the events from organization. Amanda is already a member. And find the ones I need by applying filters and using keywords such as organization, location, and event title. I'm looking for an ice skating event for Amanda. Let's check. Let's also take a look at the details to see if anything special I need to bring to the events. Oh, Gia is going to be the volunteer for this event and host this time, which is great because I already trust her. There's also notes to ensure a cozy and enjoyable. Okay, so I will make sure Amanda wears something fluffy clothes to avoid any injuries in case of falling. I register Amanda for ice skating event. Okay. One more thing, I want to make sure I don't forget my registration and everything showing on my calendar. Great, everything showing here. We still have a lot more to show, but due to the time constraint, I pass Jiyeon to demonstrate as a volunteer.
Hello, I'm Jun. I'm the volunteer. I'm the developer for Unity and the volunteer for Girl Guides. Now, displayed with the purple background is my screen, and from which I can see my account information. And I can also check my volunteer detail. And I can check all the personal information, time I have been volunteered, and all the events I have been participated in, and also the reviews I received from parents. Great. So we are going to host an event next Saturday. And right now I'm going to check, am I properly linked to the organization to see if I'm verified to edit the event for Girl Guides. And since the skating rink near here just opened, so we got a great deal from the organization. Right now, I'm going to change the location to UBC Robson Square. Great, the event has been changed. And if there is a new event, I can create it from scratch. But since the time is limited today, so I won't go into further detail here. And right now I'm going to send a group message to parents by updating the information that we have changed location. Great. So the message has been sent, and that's all for our demo. Right now, I'm going to pass the stage to Moon, and she will present our tech stack.
For talking about our tech stack, we have used Illustrator, Figma, and Photoshop for our designs. For our front-end development, we use React Native and Expo to build a mobile app for both Android and iOS, which is making a development simpler. With the Expo, we can easily access the device feature without writing extra codes. For secure user sign-in, we are using Google Authentication and adding JSON Web Token JWT for extra security to our API endpoint as well. Our backend with Node.js relies on Google Firestores, a scalable and user-friendly database, which has hosted it on AWS EC2 servers for more flexibility and control. For our project management, we are using the Jira and Google Drive and the Slack channels for our communication. Hava is going to continue to talk about our logo and branding.
So for the brand identity, we wanted to represent this idea that children are building their own independence and freedom by learning those skills and abilities in those activities. It's how somehow the learning to fly concept. This is why we choose a bird as our main icon. And it also is U-shaped, so it matches our typeface unit here. As for the colors, we choose purple as a primary color, which represents creativity and fantasy and also has an uplifting effect. The pink, yellow, and cyan are supporting colors. They represent nurturing effect, joy, and calm as well. For the text, we use a dark gray and backgrounds of white and a lighter shade of purple. For the typefaces, we choose Peli, Satoshi, and Roboto, which are all sans serif, and they have these rounded shapes, which bring this cheerful effect of our app. And going back to our research, we started to build the UX process by creating our user flow, and you're seeing a simplified version of the events user flow. And we iterated this process, and it was one of the foundations to create our wireframes, which is basically bringing the usability to a frame of the app and showing where things are going to be so the user can navigate through our app. And the third phase was the mockups, which we built parallel to building our UI kit. As you can see in our UI kit, we are using purple again as our primary color. We have the rounded shapes in the fields, buttons, cards, and icon, again, to bring this familiarity with the children's world. And to bring this also, we created some illustrations and badges for the children dashboard. As our users start to use our app and grow and provide feedback, we also want to provide them more experiences and updates. So we are planning to have customization on the events so the organizations can create their own fields according to their needs. And as you can see, we are not using children's pictures because of safety. So we are also going to provide a customization on the avatar so the parents can relate more to their children on the app. Currently, our app only allows organizations to talk to parents, but we want to provide parents to connect to each other, but only the ones who are participating and registered to the same event, so they can help each other, give their children's rights, and so on. And last, the campaigns is working similarly to the events and activities, but it will allow a collaboration between parents and organizations so they can create situations like fundraising and follow up with how it is going. Unitier is an app to connect hearts and strengthen communities. And developing this was only possible in 12 weeks with the collaboration, effort, and also a lot of patience of those talented developers and designers. And as we graduate now, we are open to work opportunities, but we are also open to discuss development and design. So I invite you to scan our QR code, access our website, and connect to us on LinkedIn. And if you want more details, also download our proposal. Thank you.
I'm going to start by saying, I'm going to start with Emily, but I'm going to start by saying with my oldest son in hockey, I really wish I had this for his hockey stuff. My gosh. Over to Emily.
Thank you, Paul. And thank you so much for the presentation. As a parent myself, I was immediately like, yes, this would be extremely useful. I love the problem you've chosen to solve. I had a lot of questions just because the platform that I work on is also a marketplace platform. I know how many challenges come in with a marketplace, both things like verification and validation and like quality of all actors in the marketplace, sustained quality. So I could see why, like as an organization, why I would have an incentive to post my event, because of course I want to attract people to it. I want them to know about it, communicate updates to it. But then I was curious, it seemed like there were a few things you showed that suggest they do like ongoing tracking of kind of what happened at the event for there to be updates for like your children in the app. You can see how much they've participated in.
Yes.
Could you share a little bit more about that? I was curious about that.
Yes, the idea, because some of those organizations, they have seasons and they have certain activities. Like we started with Girl Guides as an example because they have levels. So we also want the parents to feel proud of their children by seeing their achievements, and they have a certain skills they want them to learn with the activities. So this is what we are providing on the children's list. I don't know if it answers your question.
It does, yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Then I guess I just wanted to raise, like, I wouldn't expect you to be able to solve this problem in a 12-week span, but I think one of the big things you'd have to overcome would be like validation and verification of these organizations and their events, just making sure that whomever is coming on and posting the event is verified that they're able to do so, that sort of thing. Because with any app for kids, of course, or kids activities, security is always going to come up very strongly early on.
Yes, yes. This is something we thought about, but we didn't show here in the demo, but it's something that
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think my only feedback would be, I think if you were to continue it, like just staying really tightly focused on your very first value proposition of, I want to be able to browse through events that are suitable for kids by age range and location, activity type, and register for them. I think that's like the strongest pitch, and you could easily spend years developing just on that. But it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's a great project. It's very interesting to me because I have not been on that side of the problem. I don't have kids, and I haven't been one in a while, or two kids activities recently. But so I have more questions maybe. So I did want to know about the calendar part. I mean, that was a great feature. How does it connect with the personal calendar, or does it? Did you tackle that one?
Right now, we're just using the third-party library to incorporate the calendar components in our projects, but we have not linked the calendar to personal calendar, which could be one of the future feature that we can incorporate in our app. But thank you for pointing out. We also think about this, like when we're developing developing our products, but the time is really limited. Like, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it sounds like an opportunity. My next question is about the chat between parents. I wonder if you've done any surveys or research. I just think about maybe the hesitance or the trust there to be talking to other parents through that.
Excuse me.
You have a feature where parents can talk to each other, right? If
yes.
like people are going to the same event, but if there's a ton of people going to that event, I'm just thinking about how hesitant they might be to reach out or talk or their level of trust of the other parents. How do you think about that?
We did some research, and one of the things is, first, the parents have to be approved to the event because they are already registered. And to be able to connect and chat with each other, there will also need to be an approval of the person who is going to request. Yeah, it's not like I'm sending you a chat, but for you to receive a chat or for us to be able to communicate, you have to approve first and know that I'm in the same organization that your children are already registered. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thanks. Well, other than that, very well executed.
Thank you.
Great presentation, everyone. I could tell that you worked really hard on it, and you did a great job of identifying an intersection of problem spaces, which I was impressed with. You considered both sides of, the target users that you were going to be addressing, both with the parent side and also the volunteer side. I was also impressed with your branding as well. I thought your logo was really well designed, and you executed your branding colors really well throughout your app as well. And I also noticed there was a lot of familiar Google materials style guide elements in there. So great way to stay consistent and to keep your users familiar with the interface that they're looking at. I had a question about, security and verification as well. just because, you know, parents tend to be very protective over their children. And I also noticed that with the volunteers, when a parent on their platform would look into an event, they would just see the volunteers' names without having to register for the event. Obviously, they want to be able to see like who's going to be in charge so that they can have some conception of that before committing to it. But I just wanted to ask if you considered how you're going to be protecting the security of the volunteers as well, with them being on this platform.
I think one of the things that Moon mentioned is first the events they're going to show and the ones that you're going to be allowed to register. Their children they have to be already signed in on the organization. Like the organization is going to invite to this app. And also the same thing for the chat. The volunteers need to accept, like they have to approve the participation of those members. So it's only like, it's to connect those people, but it's only through people who already know each other in a sense, because they are signed in for those organizations. Yeah, and this is how it's working currently. But definitely, I would say we would need to do more user testing and interviews to see if that's enough for this, besides the other security features that we have on the backend part.
Awesome, thank you. Great job, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uniteer team. Going to ask our next team, Rumi, to come to the front.
Day, finding an escape can be a challenge. But every long day deserves a peaceful end. Finally, the comfort of your own bed, where the chaos of the day fades away. But hold up, what if your peace is shattered? Facing challenges, adjusting with a roommate, tired of conflicts, negativity, and feeling lonely, Rumi understands. It's not just an app, it's your friend in turning isolation into connection. So, match, list, connect, and schedule. Connecting lives, connecting homes. Transform your living. Download Rumi now.
Hello, everyone. I am 𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐦𝐬, full stack developer. And today, on behalf of my team, I am thrilled to announce Rumi, our mobile application that is going to transform how we discover new roommates and shared spaces. So Rumi isn't just an app, it's a catalyst for building communities, bringing people together based on compatibility and shared interests. So let's face it, finding new roommates can be fraught with uncertainty and frustrations. Searching a rental property is a task in itself. Finding a compatible roommate can be a hassle, and our app Rumi tries to address these challenges head on. Our app offers precision roommate matching, leveraging our advanced algorithm that we have devised to match users based on their personal traits and compatibility, ensuring harmonious living. With an in-app personalized space listing showcase, finding your new room or roommate is just a few taps away. While there are other apps on the market, Rumi offers secure chatting, in-chat meeting scheduler, and compatibility checks that set us apart from the rest of our competition. As a small team of 3 developers and 1 designer, we have worked proficiently to develop our app within 12 weeks. So let's take a deeper dive.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anshul Gupta. I am a full stack developer in the team. I will be demonstrating the existing user of the app.
And myself, 𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐦𝐬, full stack developer on the team. And I'll be presenting as a new user on the screen. And my screen is on the left side, as you can see. So I'll be going through the registration process as it's an integral part of our application since it feeds our compatibility algorithm. So I start by creating my account here. I enter my full name, my email address, raghav@gmail.com. I'll enter a basic password. So it is a multi-step registration process because we have to gather data from the user so that we can use that data further to match the users based on everyone's preferences. So I'll have a budget of $950. And on the location, you can either set the current location or you can anytime go back or input the location manually whenever you want to. So for the image and bio, I will start by clicking my profile picture. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So I'm a student and I'm a WMDD student. So for my personal living habits, I can select smoking daily, gas daily, and drinking occasional. Pets, I don't have any. Non-vegetarian. Yeah. And for my interest, I will start by going by interest. And I will going by my personal traits. I'm calm, friendly, organized. Yeah. I've got a lot of traits. Those are my true traits. So my profile has been created as of now. So coming to the home screen, as a security measure, you cannot view anyone's profile picture unless you send them a friend request and they add you as a friend. So I have currently a room which I want to list. So I will start by listing my space. I will add images from the library. And I can also again click a picture of the room here. Yeah. So the address, and I can say 1 bedroom. Let's see. Yeah. 1 bedroom with bathroom. So my budget would be, again, I can say I'm offering this room for $850 and availability images. Room is suitable for a student and pets are definitely not allowed. Yeah. And room is fully furnished. So number of bedroom is 4. This is about our personal, not just the individual room. This screen is about the details of your home, the full home, what your homes look like. So this is the screen where all the listings are there. And here we are in the end. Our listing has been created and I can go to the listing and view what my listing looks like.
So as an existing user, I'm looking for a new space to move in and a good roommate to share the space with. When I log into the app, I have a few quite friends, but I'm looking for a new space to move in. Once I go to the space, I can see there are so many spaces listed by most of the users, but I want to share a room with the person whom I'm more compatible with. So I just scroll and see, Raghav and me have a compatibility of 86%. I can see his whole profile. Oh yes, Raghav has a listing as well. And I can see his listing. I can check all the details of his listing. So I think I should send him a quick request.
So I received a notification from Rumi. Let's see what the notification is about. So see, Anshul Gupta has sent me a friend request. So I will first search for who is Anshul. Okay. So as same, I can go through Anshul's profile and see his interests and traits, and the compatibility looks good to me, and I'll accept Anshul's request.
So once he accepts my request, I can also see his full profile. I will send him a quick message. Hey, Raghav, can we schedule a meeting?
Yeah, so I received a message from Anshul and I will just quickly reply him. Yeah, sure.
Also for another feature, we can schedule a meeting. This is our calendar screen in which we can see all the meetings. Right now, I don't have any with the Raghav. So I will quickly create a meeting to finalize about room. And I would set the location at Tim Hortons. And I would set the time for 7:30 p.m. Let it be for 6th of December.
So Anshul scheduled a meeting with me as I received a notification from the application. So I have scheduled a meeting for 6th of December to finalize the room at 7:30 p.m. So, but I think I cannot make it to the meeting because as of now, I am attending a capstone presentation. Yeah. So I can go anytime and update the meeting. Yeah. So last but not the least, if after that, after meeting Anshul, if things doesn't go well, if things go south, so I can go back to Anshul's profile anytime and I can either unfriend or block him. Yeah. So for now, I will just go by unfriending Anshul. Yeah. So that's it for the demo. And now Anshul will be demonstrating you the tech stack.
Okay. In a robust tech stack for database, we have used MongoDB for storing the data part and Firebase for image storage. Also, Node and Express for the backend and React Native and Expo for the front end part. As far as security is concerned, we have used JWT for secured authorization of user and authenticated communication between the server and the client. All this was complemented by our top-notch design tools, which includes Figma, Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, Premiere, and After Effects, ensuring a seamless user interaction and engaging user experience.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Surbhi. I'm the UI and UX designer for this application. So for this process, I embarked my 12-week journey of creating this app solo. I start with defining my audience, then ideate, prototype, and design. Let me start with the journey. In the starting, we defined our audience by doing a lot of interviews, and from those we created personas, and from there we created the user journey. Using those data, we not only came to the conclusion of the path, how we need to go and what should be our main feature. With the help of developers, we created user flows. So you can see the first iteration was with the rough sketches on the boards. Then the second, it went to be better. And the third one, it became like a whole detailed user flow. Using these user flow, after that, we started creating our wireframes and doing the prototyping. Keeping the prototyping and user flow, so we started creating our branding and UI elements. As you can see for the logo also, we started with basic sketching, then made a lot of variations out of it. And after that, we created their horizontal and vertical layout. The R simply represent in our logo the Rumi app word, and with the house in it is the shape that defines our application. The 4 windows in our logo that represent people living together in one roof. We have carefully picked our colors as purple, orange, and we have also used some base colors. Purple for us depicts connectivity, creativity, whereas we have used orange for the contrast, which is not only a welcoming color, but also helps us to make people welcome in their homes. So the next, I would like to talk about our UI kit. For UI kit, we have used flat UI design. For our typeface, we have used Google font as outfit, which is very modern and easily accessible as it's a Google font. We have made icons, buttons with various variations. We have cards, and we have also made a navigation bar with micro interaction. Now I will head over to Anshul for future features, and that's it for the design.
Sanmeet will take over. Yeah, sorry.
So not Anshul, Sanmeet is going to say the future features. Sorry about that. So yeah, unfriended, yeah. So that's not all from Rumi. We aim to offer map view 360-degree virtual tour of the spaces. And we aim to also connect the in-chat meeting scheduler to the person who's using our app to their own Google Calendar for ease of use. Rumi is more than an app. It's the beginning of new friendships, discovery of new shared spaces. So here is our team of three developers and one designer, Surbi being the sole designer, Anshul, Raghav, and I being the developer on our team, all ready and open for future projects. You can connect us through our LinkedIn mentioned here, or alternatively, you can visit our website app.rumiapp.ca, or you can just simply scan the code to find out more information about us. Thank you for joining us on this journey, connecting lives and connecting homes.
I feel like Anshul might need a hug, you guys. It's poor guy. I mean, gosh. Actually, funny enough, I don't know who attended last term's capstone, but it just reminded me that there was a theme last capstone that anything is a dating app if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
And does Raghav smoke and do yoga at the same time, or how does that work? Because that's a lot of activities to fit it all in one day. I'm going to hand it over to Scott to get us started.
Thank you. Great projects. I think my favorite part is the many options that you had for describing yourself, and then that would translate into pretty granular data for you. So I think that was a strong point, but I also have a question around it. How do you handle the bias that might be there if people are entering answers of who they hope they would be, or the way that they like to see themselves, and anything else subjective in any of the other information, like for example, when you say that you do something occasionally, I guess it could be 5 times a week or 10, according to your interpretation. How did you wrangle that part of it?
Yeah. So when we interviewed our audience or our target audience, we found out when we asked them a few questions about their preferences. So we heard this, that yeah, we do it occasionally, 2-3 days a week. So we thought that we should include one option of occasional as well, including daily and never.
But I think the question is different, I think. Everything has a weight attached to it that goes into our backend. Basically, we haven't done anything for that use case that you are specifically implying for. But that can be a part that we develop over time. It could be a next iteration of our app. It's a good recommendation.
And about the personality part?
The personality, we hope, we trust our users to be honest enough to enter correctly. Yeah.
Me too.
Great job, everyone. Especially considering that your team is only the 4 of you with 1 designer, 3 developers. I think you did an amazing job of pulling this together in 12 weeks. Great problem space, very relevant to Vancouver, where almost everybody is renting and looking for roommates. My question was a little bit similar to Scott's, where have you considered the verification process of your users? Just because having a roommate is very, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. And so how do you ensure the security of your users and the safety of them, and ensuring that the people who are going to be using your platforms are good ones to recommend to each other?
So right now we don't have any verification process in our app. We tried to implement a verification process with a third party, but it was a paid version. But we created our own privacy features. So for example, when you create a new account with us, you cannot see anyone else's profile. Everything's blurred. So it is like a consent system that we try to create with the friend request. So if you think you see a person's profile and you think that the interest matches, so you can send a request and then you can see the profile, and then you can also start a chat with them, see how it goes, because we offered in-app chat so that you don't need to share your phone number or your private Instagram ID or whatever it is. So once, if you think, for example, Anshul's a creep, you don't like Anshul, right? And then you can just block him. He doesn't have your phone number. He doesn't have your Instagram ID. He doesn't have your address. So if you block him, he will be gone forever, basically. And if you, because you don't share your personal number on it. Yes. So that's how we try to work around that solution of not being able to implement a verification process in our app. That's our way of working around it. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. I think you can really see, like, when you understand the problem space so well, presumably this is something you've all faced.
Yeah.
You can see it in how like clear the features are and how easy it seems like it would be to use. Like with one designer too, you did a great job there. Like the design kind of almost disappears into the background, which is what you want in many cases. I know exactly what I would want to do with the app. Yeah, again, onboarding was probably my favorite part. I thought that was a really nice balance between the number of questions you asked versus not trying to scare your users away. Yeah. Verification, of course, came up in my mind too. I think ID verification, even as an optional thing, could be a great thing to like add a badge to a user. If not, I think making more of those privacy features you have by actually warning users not to share numbers and not to go off platform would also be a good idea. But yeah, overall, I love it. And I could certainly see people using it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. So we're going to keep it going and invite the Learnium team to come to the front.
Learn. It was created by people who love to learn. And we sincerely believe that education is very, very important for human progress. But learning process cannot be always easy. And more effort does not always lead to better results, especially in passive learning, when just reading a book alone, trying to memorize everything, for example. And it can be really time consuming and not always effective, as we also all know. With learning, we leverage generative AI technology and we transform passive learning into trackable, planned, interactive, and much more efficient learning process. We studied international research that listed different variables which affect student progress, and we focused on some of those variables to come up with the following features for our app. So our first feature, the main one, allows user to upload more content into the app. After that, learner scans this content and rates the key topics, which are the building blocks of this material. Also, every key topic will include 3 interactive modules, like quizzes, flashcards, and a summary that user can learn later. Next feature, we connect user's study plan with learning preferences and, let's say, exam dates. Also, study plan is responsive to users' progress and quiz results. Next feature. Learning tracks progress of the user and, according to quiz results, shows which areas learner did well and which still need to be improved. Next feature, our Dr. Rooney. It's an AI assistant, and a special one, because it's trained on custom data model. And it gives user answers to all questions related to this material, not going outside of the scope of this material. Next feature, daily challenge. It was designed to bring the user back in times when user is not actively learning. And now, demo time, Tony will show you how learning works.
Hi everyone, my name is Tony, project manager and full stack developer for Learnium. Let's assume that I'm a university student majoring in history. I have already been using Learnium for quite some time. I use it to learn about history of World War II. As you can see on the home screen right now, today I'm supposed to learn about cost of World War II and economic impact of it. I have already started the first one, but the second one I not started it. If I swipe to the left, I can see another topic that I supposed to learn 3 days ago, but somehow I missed that, so it's in red right now. If I swipe to the right, I can see the topic that I'm not doing so well, so I need to maybe review it again. But today, my instructor assigned me this new book, Canadian History in Document. It pretty thick, right? And I need to have an exam with this book about in 3 weeks. So I want to use Learnium to help me learn better. I can create a new learning material by tap at the bottom. I can take a picture of the physical book, and Learnium will convert that images into
text for me, as you can see on the screen right now. But that's going to be a lot of work, right? It would be much easier if I can just upload the whole PDF which I have with me right now. I can select that I have an exam coming. I select the date of the exam, and I select the day that I'm available to learn, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday as well. And voila, now this whole book has already converted into an interactive content. As you can see here, we have a summary. Learning will summarize the book into each key topic separately so that you can learn easily. And you can study by using a flashcard, and each key topic will schedule based on the day that you put in. If you closer to your exam, you can take a comprehensive test to make sure that you are ready for the exam. But first thing first, let's go back to today's content. Let's finish the one that I have already started, the course of World War II. When I click on, when I tap on the key topic screen, I can see the summary. I can take a look reading it, or I can use the flashcard to study. Let's do the flashcard now. You can set up the flashcard the way you like, or you can use the focus mode as well. It will disable your phone notification so that you can be focused on your learning. The flashcard can be navigated by swiping left and right and tapping the card to see the answer. For this one, do you know who was the Prime Minister of United Kingdom during the war? Do you know it? Do you know it? Does somebody know it? I don't know. Maybe I just randomly put in my name. And of course, it's incorrect, right? And for the flashcard that you may be not sure about the answer, you can tap here to bookmark this card and come back to study it again. Okay, now imagine I'm ready for the quiz. Let's assume that. In order to complete the key topic, we encourage the user to take at least 3 quizzes. We already finished 2. Let's finish the last one. Again, we can set up the quiz the way we like. We have 3 types of questions: true, false, multiple choice, and written. Let's just not do written because it's a lot, right? Start the quiz. Okay, this is gonna take me a lot of time. So my friends already prepare all the answer for me. Okay, I can click finish to submit the quiz. Oh, and voila, he got 90%. He was a very genius, right? Yeah. Let's see the result. Everybody makes mistake, right? And we can always learn from our mistake. On this quick result screen, you can see all the question and answer, and you can also see the one that you got it wrong. On that one, you can click explanation, and it will take you to our AI assistant, Dr. Lumi. This is not your ordinary chat GPT. It is a chat GPT that trained on your own custom data. So it will give the answer only what relevant to your content. So for example, I type in, who is the president of USA? Supposedly it should be Joe Biden, right? But with this context that the book we uploaded is about World War II. The president of that time is Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let's see the progress of how well am I doing. I can tap on view progress, and I can see that the course of World War II, the one that we just finished, now move to completed down here. When I tap on it, I can see how well am I doing. If I'm not satisfied with my result, I can go back to study again, or I can take another quiz. Another cool feature would be the daily question, where the app sends notification to user on the day that you're not having the schedule for learning. And we send you a notification for you to come back and answer one question so that you can recall what you have already learned and you remember that knowledge better. And that's all for the demo. Now, I'm going to talk about our design process.
Yeah, I'm Vaibhav, and I'm one of the UI UX designers of this team. So now that we've seen the magic unfold within the Learning app, let's see what really went behind the curtains. So to empathize with the user, we started off by doing user interviews, with which we also did our competitor analysis to really understand what's already out there in the market. As a team, we really wanted to make data-driven decisions,
which is why we also conducted a survey, which gave us great insights, such as the practice frequency and also the type of test that we should have. Now that we had this data, it really helped us shape up our user flow, our wireframes, and after multiple iterations, our mockups. So throughout this process, we realized how important our home screen and also our quiz results page will be. So currently you see our home screen wireframe. So we initially thought out, we wanted to have a carousel design. And for our first iteration, we changed them to tabs as it was a more user-known behavior and we had more text that we could incorporate on the screen. For our next iteration, we changed our purple background to just a purple stroke as having our primary color, having so much of our primary color on our home screen would be really overwhelming for the user. And for our final iteration, we removed the two buttons, all material and study plan. And we wanted to make this home screen as straightforward for the user as possible. Moving on to the quiz results wireframe. Now for our first iteration, we wanted to have the character on the screen somehow, which is why we have the screen. And for our second iteration, we wanted to have a clear segregation between correct answers, incorrect answers, and also a not answered question by the users. Before I go into our branding, I want to introduce our character, Dr. Lumi. But why is it an octopus, you may ask? Well, we all know that octopuses are highly intelligent creatures, and they're really known for their problem-solving skills. That's what we want our character to be associated with. But why do we have our character on almost every single page? Well, that's because having our character on every single page, it is there for the user as a friendly face and also as a learning guide throughout the journey. As Dr. Lumi is the face of our app, we want users to be able to easily recognize and remember. That is why we wanted to incorporate her in our logo as well. Moving on to our color and typography. For our primary color, we went with electric indigo, as we wanted to evoke an emotion of being wise and creative for the user. For our accent colors, we went with solar yellow to add a touch of playfulness. And also coral red is used for special conditions such as incorrect answers and misschedule. For our typography, we went with two different typefaces, which are bold, but also easy to read. This is really ideal for our app as it is really text heavy. For our UI component, we went with the flat UI design with rounded corners. This creates a clean, but also a friendly interface. This extends across all the different screens that we have, helping us have a user seamless journey. For our navigation icons, we wanted to move away from our traditional old icons, and we wanted to make them more gamified, which is why we added micro interactions. Overall, we want the user to be visually engaged. And at the end of the day, we want our users to come back to our app and keep learning. Now, I'd like to hand over the tech stack to Mario.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Hello, everyone. I'm Mario. I'm a full stack developer, and I'm going to walk you through the tech stack. So in order to build this app, we use a variety of technologies to make things smooth. We use React Native and Expo for the app's framework that allows us to have a much easier development process. To style our app, we wanted to keep it simple, so we use vanilla CSS, and for those slick transitions, we use the reanimated library. On the backend, we use Node.js with Express as a backend framework that allows us to handle the logic and the API endpoints that are hosted on AWS. For data storage, we use MongoDB as our go-to choice, ensuring flexibility and scalability while managing data effectively. Now, we wanted to make our app even more powerful, so that's why we integrate some third-party libraries for visualization and data processing. A few examples of these libraries are the OpenAI library and LangChain that allow us to train and handle our own custom model based on the user's data. This user's data can be files, images, or just plain text. Now, in order to accomplish this outstanding designer app, our designers use a variety of Adobe apps and Figma to create the wireframes and the mockups. And of course, our workflow is powered by really strong tools such as GitHub, Slack, and Jira. So what about competitors? While there are many e-learning platforms in the market, Learning sends out 𝐓𝐶𝐬𝐵's unique set of features. A few examples of these cutting-edge features will be the AI-powered content generation, the structured learning material, the flexible study plan, and of course, the AI assistant. So what's next? We plan to add other methods to upload data, including video and audio. Also, thinking of users with special needs, we would like to add an extra layer of accessibility by integrating the text-to-speech so we can have a wider range of users. And finally, Learning was developed and designed in only 3 months, thanks to the vision and hard working of our designers and developers. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to take new challenges. So please scan the QR code and connect with us so we can make great things together. Thank you.
Hey, good job, everyone. That was a really fun presentation. I loved your branding, and I love the concept of the app as well. It's kind of like a glorified Quizlet mixed with Duolingo, but ChatGPT all in one. Yeah, I thought it was a really innovative app, a great way to get people involved in their own learning, but also in a way that is innovative with everything that's going on with AI and generative AI right now. I do have questions about it, but I'll stick to my UX for now. I guess my one comment would just be, you do have a lot of your primary color in the app interface, and I know that you guys already addressed kind of reducing that down a little bit. But my suggestion would be to consider using tints and shades of your primary color, and that's a really easy way to increase the hierarchy that you have within your app, and it makes it a little less overwhelming for users. So you can reserve your primary use of that primary color for main things that you want to draw attention to, but still integrating it into the rest of your UI so that it feels holistic, still feels part of the branding, but in a way that's really subtle and your users almost won't notice that. So excellent job. I'm really hoping one of the other 2 panelists will talk about or ask about ChatGPT. But yeah, great job, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi there. Love this project. I have a few questions. It looks accurate, but what if it left out something like one really important thing in the summary? Did you think about that, or does it already
can you
address that? Like in the summaries that are generated, it looks really amazing. And I'm sure it's accurate. Is it possible that it leaves out like one very important detail or something like that? You know what I mean? Like how did you approach thinking about that?
We customized our response from OpenAI to make sure that it covers a lot of things, most things as possible. The cost of having more response coming back is we need to sacrifice the time that OpenAI give us the response. So we kind of need to find the right spot that is not taking too long, but not losing too much of the detail. Yeah.
Got it. And it looks like what it's handling right now is factual or narrative information, but you mentioned it's in context. Like if you ask who the president is, it's in that context. Can you ask something like, what was that person's opinion of all this stuff that happened?
Sure. Yes, you can. And the answer Dr. Rumi will not give an answer on that, because we only strictly customize the answer of Dr. Rumi to only base on the content that you uploaded only, not using the content from the internet or anything from ChatGPT.
Got it. Last question. Does it require expertise in teaching and learning methodology to continue to move this project forward, like instructional design or?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you need like a teacher to help with this development, or is that not applicable? Would you need an education expert?
Okay. In terms of deciding the way user learn, am I correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We base on the research that we found, the psychological research, and we found that research, they split the student into group, and one group you just read the book 5 or 6 times before the exam. One group is based on, you just read once and you do the quiz, you using the flashcard. Turns out that the second group do better. And the same study two groups of the student, one reading like 5 rounds of reading a book just 1 week before the exam, and one group reading the same amount of round but spread it out over a month. And the result is that the second group is perform better. That's why we come up with the way we design the schedule in our app, that we spread out as much as possible, and we dissect the main content into a bite-sized key topic so that learner can learn one at a time and see the connection between each one.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I want to echo what they both said about the branding and the graphics are so fun. Like, this is a really visually appealing app to look at, as are your slides. I love the whole concept, and the branding is awesome. I also want to give a shout out to the video, which I'm sorry we haven't done for the others. We're almost taking them for granted, but the videos have been wonderful for all of them. There are a lot of little touches I thought were really great, like the customization between I'm studying for an exam versus personal development. I thought that was a really, really nice addition. I love the daily questions and the daily facts to keep the users engaged. Great idea. And it's cool the way you've incorporated ideas like scaffolding learning and gamification without being instructors yourselves. You've obviously done a lot of research on the psychology of instruction. I guess one tiny piece of feedback I had was I feel like there's an opportunity for the homepage to have a bit more of like a gamification element to it, for the homepage to have something more indicative of the user's like total progress rather than just their current actions. But again, I was super impressed. I love the concept.
Thank you. I think it's great that it's not as aggressive as Duolingo. So that's nice. And I bet you Tyler appreciates that there's an octopus involved. That there's an octopus involved. Yeah, he likes octopi. I know that for a fact. Okay, good job.
Thank you. One left. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Rental team.
Well, let's wrap this up, shall we? Hi, everybody. My name is Laís, and I'm the project manager and front-end developer of Rental. And the way that I want to start this presentation is by saying that Rental is a passion project. Now you may all be thinking, wow, these guys must be really into real estate, right? But that's not exactly it. We just passionately hate what we had to deal with. We're all newcomers arriving to the city, needing to find a place to call home quickly. And I know that we're not alone in this, right? Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Come on, it felt crazy that these were actually our best options for finding home in Vancouver. That's why we decided to take this matters into our own hands. We pretty quickly realized that we had two types of users. For sure, we were tenants. We understood those pains. But also, we had property owners, those with their own sets of problems and plans that we needed to find solutions for. So, for the tenants, we're providing filters that facilitate their search for homes. Also, we are providing them the opportunity of virtually experiencing the rooms that are looking to rent before they're actually there. Another much needed thing that we're providing for our users is the peace of mind of knowing that the listings that we're looking at are real listings owned by real people. Now, for our property owners, after some user research, we realized that a big thing for them was the creation of the listings, because that required a lot of time and effort. So we decided to help them with that. That's why we provide guided creations of the property listings. And also, with the use of OpenAI, we're able to provide captivating descriptions based on the entries that we provide for the listings. And our last problem that we decided to tackle for our property owners was the choosing of the tenant, because the search can be quite high. And choosing the best tenants can promote and facilitate an easier rental experience, which is our end goal for both of our users. And talking about our competitors, there are plenty of things that distinguish us from the competition, but mostly our 360 virtual tours, which is a feature not commonly found amongst our competitors. It's important to distinguish here A rental is not another listing platform. It's a comprehensive solution tailored for both of types of our users, providing seamless and an easier home hunting experience with some AI assistance. But now, let's get into this, right? Let's see how our demo performs. This is our first page. And here is where you can create your profile using your email. But since we already have an account, let's just sign in. Let's start with the user flow of our property owners wanting to list a property. Here you can see that this user already has a property. And let's check if we have any matches for this closing maternity. We have 2 users that show the interest in this property. But I'm getting it better myself. Let's start by creating a new listing. So it's going to be a listing of an entire place, of an apartment that has Wi-Fi, it's pet friendly, and has parking. 2 rooms, 1 bathroom. Come on. Let's say that this house is located in Vancouver. And we're going to set the price. Vancouver. Let's try a bit higher. That's more like it. Perfect. Here is where we use OpenAI to create a captivating description based on the previous entries that we had. Perfect. Looks good to me. Let's keep going. Here is where we get into the good stuff. We're adding the images for our 360 view. And our users has 2 options here. We can upload 6 pictures from the gallery or use the native camera to take a panoramic picture. But since we're here earlier this day, we have taken pictures of this very same venue. And these are things that we're going to show for you guys today. Here is where some magic is happening. We're taking 6 images and stitching them together onto a cube using the 3.js library to create our 360 view. But we'll get into more details about this in a minute. That's it. And now that we have added our 360 view, we will also need to select our feature images. These are the ones that are going to be on display on our listing details. And after we add these images, they're all going to be stored onto our database. Once we finalize uploading all of our images, our listing has been created. It didn't take that long, right? Let's view our post. This is the person that we just created with our AI description, our objectives, and here is where our user will be able to see if there are any applicants. But since we just created it, there's none. Now, let's see that on our profile, the listing that we just added has been added. And now let's see how we can tell this user that we are interested in this listing. So we're going to look for a new place in Vancouver. And here is where we have access to our map. All of our listings are going to be here, including our non-verified listings, which are taken from Craigslist through data scraping. Once clicked on these, you will be redirected to the Craigslist original post, but also the post that we just created. It's time for us to have a better look at our 360 virtual tour. As you can see, this was created by 6 images being stitched together. And in the corners, you can see where those images meet in the cube. We also wanted to provide a different form for our users to do this. So by the use of a regular cell phone, taking a panoramic image, we're able to provide a much better visualization of the room. The stitching is way less noticeable, making the experience that much better for our user. Now we're all interested, right? So let's tell this owner that we are interested on this listing. And there you go, we've been added to the interested list. But there's another thing that I want to show you guys. Remember that first post that our user had? Let's have a better look at it. It's a really fancy place. Let's say it's owned by a real estate agency that has access to a really good camera. I want to showcase how we can do with the same functionalities, but using a professional camera with wider lenses and an image, a much better experience for a user, making our view much cooler. And now, full stack developer Sean is going to elaborate a little bit more on what's going on with the backend.
Thank you, Lois. So if you've got some experience about using the 360 view before, like the Google Street View, you might notice that we have more distortion on the box if you feel like you are standing in the box instead of the sphere. So we choose this option. So it doesn't matter what the programs upload the pictures. Eventually, we'll into 6 images and map each of them on each side of this skybox. So this skybox is basically a geometric, if you the illusion of the distance. So we're doing these extra steps. So we expect most of our users should be using mobile phones to take pictures. So what if they don't have the panoramic mode on the camera? So in that case, they can just take 6 normal images and upload them individually. So the purpose is to just give our users more options. So it's like giving more possibility and compatibility for using our app. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. I'm Rima. I'm a full stack developer. So for our system architecture, we use React Native and design it with CSS. For 360 view, we use Vue.js. And to create API, we use Node.js and Express.js. For data scraping, we're using Cheerio and saving all the data in the MongoDB and Firebase for authentication and saving images. In our tech stack, our designer use Adobe Suites, LotiView, and Figma. For development, we are using Expo, React Native, Mongo, Firebase, Node.js, JWT, and OpenAI. For management, we use Slack, Jira, and GitHub.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica, and I'm one of the UX UI designers for Rento. So let me take you through our design process, which began by conducting market research and diving deep into competitor analysis to understand the overall landscape. Our next phase was crucial as we started engaging with our users and conducting insightful interviews to understand their needs and expectations. Using these insights, we then started crafting our user flows for both our users, so the tenants and the property owners, and to make sure their journey through the app is seamless. Next, in our design process, we started creating wireframes. These wireframes laid out the foundation for our intuitive interface. So here you can just see a few samples of the screens for both our users. For our logo, the idea comes from the concept of finding a home. So it's made up of 3 components. That's the house, the magnifying glass, and the letter O from Rento. So the house symbolizes the goal, the magnifying glass symbolizes search, and O just ties everything all together. For our color palette, we carefully chose hues that evoke certain emotions and align with our brand's identity. So the primary green here resembles harmony and balance, and it reflects the idea of finding a home that fosters a sense of stability and well-being. Our secondary color coral adds warmth and energy and evokes a sense of excitement in the search process. And lastly, our accent color, which is a deep purple, adds depth and sophistication to our text and overall interface. For typography, we chose the Mullish typeface, and for its versatility and modern appeal, its variable font weights allow readability across all our screens. Next step was to create a UI kit where we created standardized components like cards, buttons, etc. Icons, iconography ensured that we have a consistent navigation throughout our application. And the illustration here serves a relatable touch point for our users who are familiar with Vancouver's dynamic atmosphere, and it helps create a sense of well-being within our application. So that's it for the design process. Lice will take it.
So this is just the beginning of Rento. Literally, it's been 4 months. There's a lot more things that we want to do for this application. We want to implement AI assistance on the Rento side to be able to apply the filters for the renters to find better locations for them in a speech-like manner. Also, our biggest problem here that we're trying to fix is security. We want our users to feel safe inside of our application. That's why we will implement verification of both types of our users and also make sure that the houses that are being uploaded onto Ranger are actually owned by the people that are uploading it. And last, we also need to implement a chat inside of our application so both users can communicate in a secure and more efficient way. Let's meet the creative minds behind Rental. We're a team of 8 excited young designers and developers wanting to leave our mark in the city by providing real solutions to real problems. As I said in the beginning of this presentation, this is a passion project. We're so excited about all the things that we can achieve with Rental. We've been working tirelessly to bring innovation and excellence to the renting experience of Vancouver, with a single goal of helping you finding your best next new home in an effective and easy way. We are open for new associates to help us in this quest. Please feel free to visit our website, where you can find our project proposal, and feel free to contact us through LinkedIn for any questions or suggestions you may have. I am very pleased to be here with this group of people that have been so excited for this moment, and we really just want to take a moment to appreciate everybody that took their time to come here support us in this very important moments of our careers. Thank you so much.
I was just going to say that one of the things I love is, without knowing it, I think, I don't know if you guys know this, but this was literally one of the problems you solved of like the stitching and all that. It was literally one of the problems that almost made Airbnb go bankrupt at the beginning because users couldn't take good enough photos. And so Airbnb the founders started going to places in New York to take the pictures themselves. So like, that's pretty cool that you came up with a solution for that to lead the user through it. So I'm going to hand it over to Emily.
Thank you. And thank you, team. That was a great problem introduction, a great presentation. And I couldn't help but notice just how like polished and finished the app looks from my non-designer's perspective. Like it looks very clean and very familiar, which I mean in a very good way. Like you could very easily understand how to interact with it. I would also like to give a special shout out to the illustrations, which were beautiful and a really nice additional touch. I had one question. One thing that kind of intrigued me in your presentation was the mention of the Craigslist data scraping. I could see why you might choose to do that to kind of fill out a brand new marketplace with information, but I could also see like a risk to that kind of undermining the product you're offering. So I wondered if you could speak to the choice to add that and if that would be a long-term inclusion or a temporary thing.
The biggest problem that we're trying to solve was to populate our database at first. And a lot of the data that we did scrap from Craigslist was not good. So we did apply, we were able to gather only the ones that had images, the ones that had some description, which was the best way that we could to get something out of it. But it was also mostly to populate our database. So we have a starter because we don't have any users at the moment, but it's just the beginning.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Hi there. Thanks for that presentation. Amazing project. The first thing that jumped out is that I want to compliment is how you handled the 2 personas, how you drilled down on those. It's really easy to get focused on one of those, probably the renter, and then you end up being like, oh, well, I guess we have to attract the landlords somehow, and then it's kind of, it doesn't quite get there and takes longer. I've seen that happen in related projects. The way you were speaking about the color, I don't like to overthink color unless it's like an obvious color theory thing, but I'll just say whatever you were saying, it worked on me. The stitch was very impressive. That was very impressive. And I'm wondering, have you thought about LiDAR scanning, which you can do from your phone?
Yeah, I think you talk about building the actual 3D modeling, because if you scan the whole house, you will have the layouts.
Right.
The price of that device is around $8,000.
Right. I mean, that's the cheaper versions of the files. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just sorry if you thought that far.
Right. If you can do that, actually, you can take multiple views for a single house. So you can make a real virtual tour. You can walk around in that house. With I think that's actually could be our next feature. Thanks.
Gotcha. And I'm just thinking about the consistency of the quality of images, because it's really great that the quality of those images can get better and better. Were you thinking anything about how those could be filtered, or just the consistency if you have some low quality stuff that people put up versus higher quality stuff as an overall experience?
While creating the postings, we do have hints on how to take better images, because we want to teach them how to create attractive profiles, because they're also offering something that somebody needs to be interested in. And what we would like to do is to go deeper into that, to really have guidance through the phone and being able to turn on lights, move your camera up, and things like that.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. Very well done.
Great job, everyone. I feel like this project was an excellent combination of design, really good design, and also a really good tech development. And so it really feels like you've used all your different elements to make yourself stand out as a marketplace for rentals. Yeah, it felt very clean and also very comprehensive. I feel like you guys really considered the entire flow from start to finish, both from the renter and also the property manager's perspective. And that was very evident in the demo that you gave and also the explanations with everything. I think one thing that I'm curious about that you mentioned earlier in the presentation was that made your platform stand out from other competitors is the something about the matching for renters and property managers. I was just curious if you could explain a little bit more about that, and also other ways that you've considered using OpenAI APIs in the future, not just for the property descriptions.
First, on the question of the AI, we had our first idea was to have Clara, which is an AI assistant that would help through both process of creating a posting and also searching for a new home, because we have a filters page and we want to make that a more user-friendly flow that would make it easier for the user to experience our application. But about the tenant match, we also want to go deeper onto our user profiles on both sides, being able for the user that is a property owner to have a selection on what he is looking for in tenants, and having that same, so those questions on the tenant side where they can fill out, and then we can do the best matching options and showcase that to the property owners for as soon as he receives the match.
Great, thank you. Great job.
All right. So I think I know our audience pick, and we've got our panelist pick.
Carry the 4, and it's about a
all right. So our panelist pick for the best of show, which is down at the back, is Learnium. But our audience pick sounds like it was Rento.
No, it's like that's an old award show. I'm gonna let you finish, but that's insinuating that Tyler is like Taylor Swift. Practically the same, right? T-Swizzle, T-Higgle. Okay, so what I do want to say really, really quickly though is I will let Tyler finish actually, is in the deliberation, I do want to give a huge shout out to Kira as well, because the judge panelist decision was actually not unanimous, and I won't say who or whatever, but we ended up going with majority, but it wasn't unanimous, and there was a bit of a fight going on. So I had to like kind of calm everybody down, get some candy, promise them some things, figure some things out. But I do want to shout that out. And ultimately, I'll end off by saying, as I say every term, like I say to everybody, is that I know I'm biased as one of your instructors. I only get to see you over 2 terms, but every single term, I'm like a proud papa in here. I'm not marking like Tyler is. So I just get to be the proud papa standing on the sidelines or sitting on the sidelines. And somehow every term, each term outdoes each other. And it's incredible to see how the projects just get crazier and crazier and more amazing. Like the comments going on in the room is just like, some of the panelists are like, how did they do that? Like and they're like, in 12 weeks, really in 12 weeks? Are you sure it was 12 weeks? And yeah, actually it was probably less because of the holidays that came into this term. So like huge shout out to you guys, because nothing against some of the past terms. There's alumni in the room. Shout out to the alumni for coming back. And we were blown away in their projects. And now it's like, how did you guys better those? And you do it every term. You're just incredible. You're all amazing. And I'm certain you're all going to be extremely successful. We're certain you're going to be extremely successful. The industry can't wait to have you. I'm sure of it. So congratulations to you all. Thank you to 𝐬𝐿anGera for supporting the event, making this happen. Like Tyler mentioned, personally, I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate food waste. So please eat the food, enjoy, network. I know there's still lots of people here from industry. So this is your chance to grab these students before they get hired by somebody else. So get out there, network, connect. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.